What's up, everybody? It is a Blue Drake, and today, after playing a lot of Battlefield 2042, and of course, many other games over the years, I want to talk about one game that I am simultaneously incredibly impressed with and also very disappointed with at the same time. And what we're going to be talking about today, well, I guess in part, we're going to be comparing it to a couple of other games and what it could be if it wanted to, which at this point I don't think it ever will be, is we're going to be talking about Insurgency Sandstorm. And I feel like a lot of Insurgency Sandstorm's untapped potential. So, I've played a lot of Battlefield 2042 now, and it's a pretty good game, but it's got a lot of issues. And one of the biggest issues that it has is the fact that it doesn't have offline play. Well, Insurgency Sandstorm does have offline play. It has really great single-player gameplay and multiplayer gameplay. It's got incredible weapon handling, and it even has vehicles, all with Unreal Engine 4, and, believe it or not, also mod support as well. Oh my gosh, should this not be the ultimate game? Should this not be everything that I constantly complain about other games not being? And in many ways, in many ways it is. In many ways it is an incredible game, but this is also just the plague of the game development industry for some reason, is whenever you get closer, it seems like you get further away. And what I mean by that is there's a number of games that get really close to what I want, but for some reason, all of these games that get really close have something that gets in the way that almost makes it pointless. And I am hoping one day there will be a game that ticks all the boxes and is led by a studio that really wants to follow through and continue developing it and turning it into the shining beacon of the gaming community that I know a game like this could be. But even with Insurgency Sandstorm on the market, I am still waiting. And I want to talk about a few reasons why. So first off, Insurgency Sandstorm, like I said already, has lots of incredible features and mod support. And I've played a lot of really incredible mods, and I've showcased these mods as well. But the mod support, for whatever reason, is really lacking. It almost feels more like an afterthought than it should. I guess kind of in the same way that Battlefield Portal is kind of like an afterthought and not a central part of the experience, as I feel like it should be, but hey, whatever, everybody has different opinions. And with Insurgency Sandstorm, it also seems like their mod support is not front and center. And if it was front and center, that would make a big difference. The Mod.io integration is very clunky, and the entire reason that they used Mod.io as their modification platform to distribute modifications, for people to upload modifications, was for them to incorporate mods into consoles. But then, when the console release of Insurgency Sandstorm came out, they said that they were going to pull mod support from consoles, which means this entire time we've been dealing with this subpar modification support system for basically no reason. If this game had Steam Workshop integration, it would be phenomenal. It would be absolutely phenomenal, but for whatever reason, they just went with something subpar for no reason, which is really ridiculous. And beyond that, another thing that I think is really frustrating about this game is when Insurgency Sandstorm first came out, it was really great. It had a lot of momentum. There was a lot of content. There was a lot of people on the community development team. They were constantly creating new events, releasing new updates, all sorts of really cool stuff. But as always, over time, that has really stagnated. And they have been simultaneously not really releasing that much content or updating the game that much, but despite them not really releasing that much content or subpar content, they are announcing a whole bunch of microtransactions and DLC and battle passes, which really makes me feel like this game is kind of on its last legs, which is really really a shame. So here's what I want to talk about. What I want to discuss... nobody saw that. What I really want to discuss is what I feel like a game like Insurgency Sandstorm should be to be the ultimate game. Obviously, I have my own game, Operation Harsh Doorstop. We're working on creating our own vision of what the ultimate game should be as well. Will it actually become that or not? I mean, I have no idea. It's kind of superfluous because my objective here is to talk about what I want. I don't really care. The funny thing is, the kind of person I am, I don't care who pulls this off. The first person to make this game, I will be supporting you 1,000%, 1,000,000%. If it's me, then that's actually kind of sad. If we're the first people to make the game that I'm about to explain to you, that's kind of pathetic. Because the only reason we're making this game is because nobody else is making it. And I don't know why, because it should be a no-brainer. So, here's the thing. There needs to be a game that has both single-player and multiplayer as equal components of the game. There's lots of games that have really incredible single-player mechanics and single-player campaigns, and there's a lot of games that have really incredible multiplayer mechanics and multiplayer or cooperative campaigns, but there is very few, if any, games that have both of those combined. I think, again, Arma is a good example, but if you were to look at a game like Squad, it is only multiplayer. Hell Let Loose, it's only multiplayer. If you were to look at maybe something like Call of Duty, okay, that's got strong single-player and multiplayer aspects, but it doesn't have mod support, so it kind of doesn't really put it in this category at all. Although, I would say Call of Duty Modern Warfare has been incredibly successful for all of these reasons that I think I've outlined. So if we're going to have an ultimate game, we need to have a game that is a platform. It shouldn't be all about a campaign. It shouldn't be all about, battle passes. It should be almost like its own ecosystem. It's a place where people can enjoy the game however they want to enjoy the game, and also interact with the rest of the creative community, whether those people are creating videos or whether those people are creating mods or whatever, in as seamless a way as possible. So, single player and multiplayer. That's obviously a really big important aspect, and I think the user interface and the main menu needs to reflect that as well. I think Insurgency Sandstorm does a pretty good job of that. It could be a little bit better, but I think it's pretty on the nose. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is mod support. For whatever reason, there's lots of games that have mod support, but I think there's a lot of people that want to pull away from mod support from at least certain platforms, like take Steam Workshop for instance. There's a lot of people that could use Steam Workshop, and I think Steam Workshop would be incredible for these games, but they don't want to use Steam Workshop because they're afraid of Steam, I don't know, or whatever. I feel like if somebody's going to create mod support, the mod support needs to be platform neutral, but whatever platform it is on, it needs to support mod distribution for that platform. So, I think that Fallout, or, basically any Bethesda game is a great example of this. Fallout and Bethesda games, Skyrim games, are perfect examples of platform-neutral mod support. You can install modifications for those games, and you don't need Steam. You don't need Steam Workshop. You don't need anything. Somebody could Dropbox you a mod, and you could install it that way. But you can also, because it's platform neutral, integrate it into every single platform. So, if your game's on Steam, well, guess what? You can download Steam mods really easy. If you're on anything else, Mod.io, Nexus, whatever, you can download mods anyway really easily. And I think that's also something that's really, really needed. When you look at Insurgency Sandstorm, their mod support is incredibly janky. They've got an SDK out, and they've got a really, really great platform for making mods that they could utilize if they really wanted to, but this Mod.io integration that they've created really is ham-fisting the entire execution. Because, for instance, there is no way for you to download a modification for Insurgency Sandstorm and play that modification for Insurgency Sandstorm in single player without going through the command line console to type in a string and manually load the modification. There's no user interface to download a modification and then play it in single player, which is absolutely goofy. It's all server-sided. So let's say I download the ISMC modification. In order to play the ISMC modification, I have to find an ISMC server and then join that server in order to play mods that I've downloaded onto my computer. I can play it in single player if I actually want to run like a command line interface or go through console or something like that and launch a modification like that, but you shouldn't have to do that. It should be something like how it's integrated with Ravenfield. With Ravenfield, you go into the game, you open up your modification window, you check the boxes of the mods that you want to play, and then you press play and you can play your own offline game with whatever mods you want. The fact that Insurgency Sandstorm doesn't have that is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. So those are the biggest things. And then the last thing I want to discuss is this. This is something else that I think plagues a lot of games, but it's one of the things that has made me really, really disappointed in Insurgency Sandstorm. Insurgency Sandstorm, and many other games like it, is incredibly successful. They have raked in, I can only assume, millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, and they are still going strong. Maybe they're not making the amount of money that they made on launch day, but they're still making a significant amount of money. Despite this, watching NWI and watching their studio, I have only seen massive layoffs of the people who were originally behind creating this game getting fired. I am seeing dwindling content updates. There is less and less and less coming out for this game, while at the same time they have this thriving modding community that's honestly doing a significantly larger amount of work creating new content for this game than their own studio. And that's something, look, I'm going to be really honest about this because I think this is something that not only means a lot to me, but it's something I see in a lot of places, and it's honestly kind of disgusting. If you are in a situation where your studio is making millions of dollars and you are outputting less content for your game than your modding community, something is wrong. Something is wrong. If you have people sitting there working for free, pushing out content for your game, and you are sitting there raking in a significant amount of money of people purchasing the game, thinking that that money is going to furthering the development of this game, but then your game is not really upgrading either its foundation or adding in new content. It doesn't always have to be new content, but new features, bug fixes, polish, new maps, whatever. If you are not keeping up with your own modding community, something is wrong. And that is also something that I think is really sad, and I see a lot of studios doing. It's like a lot of studios come out, they put this game out, they succeed, and when they have an opportunity to finally have all the resources that they ever would want, they do nothing with it. Or they just rake it all in, pay off their debts, and I guess just, go to the beach? I have no idea. I have no idea. And then what happens is when they finally get to a point where they run out of that money, or instead of going back to the game and just making that game better, they create an entirely new game. And I think that's kind of ridiculous. Imagine if, my YouTube channel. I get like millions upon millions of views, and then I start not getting as many views, and then I'm like, oh, okay, time to make a new channel. And then I say, hey, everybody, I'm not updating my old channel anymore. Everybody go subscribe to my new channel. It's pointless. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to do that. And if anything, it just drives your community away. We live in a completely new era. This isn't the days of selling your games by the CD at GameStop. We should have games that live on forever. We should have studios that treat their games like YouTube channels, where it's not just a product, it's a channel. It's a way to, it's a platform. And I want to see more studios do that. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about today. Because a lot of people bring this up where, you know, obviously I'll gripe about things that 2042 has done, and they're like, well, what about Insurgency Sandstorm? You know, X game, this game, Y game, whatever. You didn't see that again. And I have to have this conversation so many times where it's like, look, these games are so close. They're so close, but here's why they're not completely there. And it's just, it drives me crazy. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. If you have any thoughts on this, or if you want to talk at all, or let me know your own opinions about, you know, not just Insurgency Sandstorm, but all of these different games, please let me know. I would love to hear it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right. Thanks so much again, and remember, Blue Drake loves you. Cheers.